for today is a little bit about me, and I think that has already been done. And I'm going to do an introduction into the topic for today. And then we're going to look at signs of engaged staff or an engaged workforce. And then we're going to look at engagement drivers. What are the levers for driving engagement in your various organizations to achieve results? And some of the factors that influence staff engagement. We're also going to be looking at some strategies. And I think that some of them are low-hanging fruits that will give you quick wins in terms of, driving engagement in your organization. And then we will take questions and have general discussions. The way I like to drive my own sessions is that they're going to be very interactive, because I believe that, for me, every session, everybody needs to take something home, learn something new, and that even includes me, because I don't know it all. I don't consider myself a subject matter expert, even though I've done this for quite a number of years, and I've helped businesses to succeed through their people doing some of these things, right? So next slide, please, for you. And I'm going to take, maybe quickly, can we have more microphones? Can we have somebody take, okay, I'm going to ask 3 people to tell me what engagement means for them. What is engagement? She's raising her hand here.
Good afternoon. For me, engagement means involvement. Being involved, being a part of what is being done.
Another take. Someone there. And one more. Maybe let's get a man this time. We can hit, okay, he's raising his hand.
It builds connection, connecting.
Connecting. Thank you very much. And I have another question. How many school owners are here actually? Or school managers? You're managing schools. Fantastic. And I'm going to direct that question to you, sir, if you don't mind. Have you ever had an instance where a staff was battered around? Have you ever had instances like that?
Yes, I've had many times.
Many times. Great. Any other person? Okay, we have very well-behaved staff, and we're going to look at how to mitigate against that, or how to get better going forward. So for me, my own explanation is that it plays a critical role in the success and effectiveness of any educational institution at all levels, from primary to university. It refers to the level of commitment, somebody said commitment, enthusiasm, like people and staff have towards their work and the institution as a whole. So, not just their work, in that you have an element of brand affinity. Are the brand values aligned with their own personal values? And we're going to look at that as we go on. According to Gallup, they described it as involvement with and enthusiasm for work. And an engaged employee really will show passion for work. Have you seen people with passion for work? Yeah, I think only one person raised their hand, to talk about somebody bad mouthing. So we have, people who are passionate about their work. They give their 100%, meaning that they go over and beyond. What will give you a little bit example of what happened to me. And I gave the feedback to the organization. So in June, I was traveling to Abuja with my dad. We're going to the Finnish embassy, the VFS office in Abuja, to get our Finnish visa to go to Finland and see my brother. Was already being issued, what is it called? A boarding pass. While I was packing the car, it was meant to be a day's journey. We go to Abuja, submit our papers and then come back to Lagos. And only for me to get there, and they had packed my dad to one side. He was on a wheelchair, but we didn't go to the airport he didn't go to the airport on a wheelchair. So I was like, okay, let's go. I thought they had issued. They said no, that they said they were not carrying us. So one guy just came from nowhere and said, I am not carrying him, or something like that. And there was help, because you see, that was the second time we were given an opportunity to go for that appointment. We had missed our first appointment because the previous time a plane broke down in Abuja and no flights were going out of Lagos. But the embassy was gracious, so they said, okay, we didn't need to pay another fee, we should just petition the organization. And I said I was going to sue them. You know, my lawyers were on standby. I don't play with things like that. Emotional trauma. And my 85-year-old father, you know, I mean, even if there's nothing else, in our culture, we respect the elderly. Did that day, that sufficed. So they now had to do, what's it called? They say, the reason he gave later on was that he said he assumed that my father was, that's the category of people that they give, you know, special, he can't walk, that let him be on the wheelchair, because it's quite a distance. Everything, like we were given priority. We were served first. In fact, they moved us with crane to enter the plane because they didn't want to stress an elderly man who could walk, by the way. You know, so for me, I was like, if this person was committed to their work, they would have found out. And it must have went out. I spent 15 minutes begging this person that later claimed that it was because we were late. So in the 15 minutes I was begging, who would have bothered? Do you know? So he could have just asked a simple question. Can he walk and climb to enter the plane on his own? And I would have said yes. So I said, your assumption cost me money, cost me time, cost me emotional trauma, cost me everything. Well, I couldn't sue them because it now happened that one day I opened our family, and they were congratulating one captain, something. So I said, wait, this is the MD of the company now. So they had to give us extra tickets. The man was apologizing. Oh, I know your dad, Uncle Soji. If they were enthusiastic about the job, if they were involved. Another one said, we will do a press release. We will go in front of their office. We will take your decided to be anyhow. But so they consistently speak positively about the organization to co-op an employee attitude survey. These are some of the things I would say, that they would say, that given the opportunity to tell others great things about working here, I would not hesitate to recommend this organization that they would exhibit. They have an intense desire to be a member of the organization. And these are some, I rarely think about leaving this organization to work somewhere else. Also, they strive, you know, they exert extra effort and engage in behaviors that contribute, you know, and things like that. And these are the answers that they will give if we were conducting an employee attitude survey. This organization inspires me to do my best work every day. This organization motivates me to contribute more than normally required to complete my work. Next slide, please. And that was Hewitt's model of engagement that and whether knowingly or unknowingly, we also could contribute to that, to the reasons for their disgruntledness or of their being disgruntled, you know, and things like that. I mean, there are natural things that will make somebody disgruntled. It can be family oriented, it can be just the general atmosphere in the country. But as an employer, let us also make sure that we're not contributing to the things that make people disgruntled at work. So, engagement drivers, number one, career opportunities. If I know that there is a clear career path for me in an organization, I know that if I come in today as, let's say, HR officer, and I put in the work, you know, I perform very well, I contribute to the growth of the organization, I'm a good team member, you know, and there is the next level for me. I will take it over an organization where I'm just going to remain on the same level for the next 10, 20 years, right? Recognition, very, very important. Gallup has written a lot about that, and they've driven different initiatives about that. I know that one of the things that stop us from doing some of these things is because we think that they are too, they cost a lot. They're too cost driven for the organization. We're thinking, before we pay salaries, then before we now start doing all these things, where is the money? But you'll be surprised that some of these things, you don't even need to spend a dime. I remember when I worked in APNG, one of the initiatives that we drove for recognition was this Gallup a point in a box or something like that. So every day, when somebody commends you for something, let's say it's your boss or even a colleague, you get a point in a box with your name attached to it. At the end of the month, they will collate everything and see who has the highest, and that person gets recognized. You know, there could be money attached to it, but it can also be just a note. I remember at Unilever, I was even away on holiday. I came back and I had a recognition award for going, so some of my colleagues had recommended me for going way over and beyond in supporting the team. And I was even new to the team, so I was a bit surprised. But that was a good one, and it made me bond more with my team members. It made me see the value that I was contributing to the team, that I wasn't just, you know, doing it for fun or doing it for myself without any impact. Some people and HR practices. So if you have policies that are not people-friendly, you are going to have disgruntled people. You are going to have disconnected people. Your HR processes must be people-friendly. And it starts even right from recruitment. Right from recruitment. Today I was thinking to myself, I sat on my own. And I think last week, one of the big four, entrepreneurship is sweet, oh, you have your own time, oh, money comes in once in a while, oh, you're happy, you can travel, you can start the process. So the lady said she was going to send me the job description. I should read the job description, and if I'm happy, I should send my resume. 3 days, I didn't see job description, and me, I wasn't even really looking anyway, so I forgot. Oh, sorry, I'm out of the office, I'm going to send it now. It took another 2 days. And in the email, she said I should let her know. So WhatsApp message. Oh, sorry. I'm still not back at work. My colleagues will get in touch with you. It's been like 3 to 4 days after that. And I'm at the point where I'm telling myself, to be honest, I'm not even interested in this role. But you know what I would do? Opportunity seeker. You have already tuned me off the whole process. So even the experience that we give people before they enter our organization is very important. It's called candidate experience. How you talk to them, what time you even reach out to them. Another around 8 p.m. So I didn't even know the number. I said, oh, they were following up for their colleague that, you know, there's one role. And I'm like, why are you calling me at 8 p.m.? Like, why? But I understand why. Because the client now has time to interview on Friday. So they wanted to give, it tells me that you don't have respect for my time. You're going to put me under pressure all the time. So the candidate experience is very, very important. When I worked in Unilever, we gave people 1 week notice for interview. Because in any case, it's a full day assessment center. So we want you to be able to take time off work for that day. You are not lying to your employer that you are going to the bank when you are going for an interview. You know, so that sort of thing. So, and you know, that whole day, it was just so nice and warm. They fed us. I've been for interview before. We got there like 7 a.m. Then it was entry-level role. I just finished university. 5 p.m., they had not attended to us. Ordinary water, they did not even give us to drink. I was like, By the time they interviewed me, but that I should not worry. She said, oh, that they said that whether they said I was rude. I said, why will I not be rude? He was cracking one joke that didn't even make sense. So please, treat people, who talks like this to somebody you don't even know? And I was young then. I just finished university. I just finished NYSC. She just wanted me to work. I said, well, me, I don't want this one now, wahala. You know? So the treatment we give people, even right at recruitment, is very important. It speaks to engagement. It speaks to how they see your organization. The sort of emails that we send to people is also very, very important, you know. Learning and development opportunities. And a survey was done recently, and when a lot of people were asked, you know, what really connects them to the organization, they said learning and development. I want to be able to leave the organization better than I joined. And I know that we're advocating for, or even if your employer is not training you, you to train yourself. But I still think that employers should train people. And I know that a lot of times people say, oh, after training people, what if they leave you? But what if they don't leave you? Now you're stuck with people who are not that equipped to do the job? Do you get what I mean? So we need to train people. One of our unique selling points when I worked in Unilever was training. we were not competing on salary. We didn't even want to match the industry. We didn't want it. So we were not the highest paying manufacturing organization. You'll be head and shoulders above. I mean, people went on international assignment 2 years to London, everywhere. They will fly you and your family, everything, bring you back, everything, that sort of. So the catering company went on an excursion to Unilever. Catering company, one of their leaders who sits in Netherlands was the one that championed the launch of some initiatives in Nigeria. And the bulb just went, she just lit up. She was like, oh, if you train your people, and yes, some people will leave. Some people will leave, it's okay, it's all part of the cost of running. Managing performance, we need to be able to manage performance well. I've been in situations where some managers or some senior colleagues will say to junior colleagues, should be mental tool. It is to say, entry-level position, this is how good you should be with Excel, but you are not that good. And so we put a developmental plan in place for you to be performance appraisal or performance management is to give feedback and to develop points. Even people that are earning 120 million naira a year in this country, if I come to an environment where things are around, somebody could come to work today and one of the Asian countries, you come and try it now. Come and try. They didn't try it with us, so they did not try it with us, So that sort of thing. So is there job similar? You don't deduct salary for anything, a performance issue, and you know how to address it through performance management. And that's my stand on that. Okay. It is even in labor. Yes, it's tardiness now. It's under performance management. Consequence for if you put you on. And you still, you're just being funny. It's not, everybody comes there to your place of work. In other sectors. It is tardiness. It is a performance management issue. Okay, we'll just expunge it from because that's not good HR or people practice. So factors that influence staff engagement. Leadership support. Of course, everything falls and rises on leadership. We know that thing. Communicate your policies. By the way, sometimes we have these policies, but do we re-educate people on the policies? We don't even do that. We do. Okay, fantastic if we do that. Professional development opportunities. And a lot of people have said, even this TOSSE now, is a form of professional development opportunity, and I'm happy that a lot of schools sponsored, their people to come here. It's quite encouraging. These are some ways that people, child space where I operate, we have different WhatsApp groups. In our groups, we ask questions. On this one, what are people doing? How are you handling this? How are you handling that? And then we're able to feed off other people in that space. So it's very important. But beyond that, continuing education. If your people desire continuing education, as much as you can, if you have the money, support them. Even if you're not doing 100%, even if it's 30%. One of the businesses that I support at the moment is a photography studio. It's called Gazmadu. And one of their people is going to take a course in LBS, which costs a lot of money. They're supporting with 70% of the cost. And I know that person is already committed to the organ, because not many people can do that for you. Have something further on, but I think I can still talk about it. Licensing is also one of the ways by which you drive professional. Before you even become a manager, I think then, it's been, and at the entry level, if you're coming, it doesn't matter even if you studied fisheries, go and take exams and things. So they helped you with licensing. And I think, I'm sure that there's certain licenses that it's one word that everybody has used at some point in time or we're familiar with. And it comes in different people and other people. So maybe while teachers cannot do remote work, there are costs of transportation these days, so where it is possible for people to work from home. So strategies to improve staff engagement. Employee feedback and involvement is very important. The mistake that we make a lot of times is to assume that we know what people want instead of asking them what they want. But is that what I need? You know, as a single girl, do I need a big bag of rice? As a new mom, is it rice that I want, you know? So, and I know that maybe we can gift cards that they can use in different stores across Nigeria. But basically, even coming back to this topic, how we need to understand where to meet people. What initiatives do more people align with and that we can easily execute? Because we can think that, I said, everybody should come back to the office. Now it's 4 days on site and 1 day work from home. So when they work only 3 times a week or 2 times a week, the other day they should work from home. It was the employees that said no. They said no, we want to come to the office because we realized that we work better when we come to the office. I said, I'm sorry, sir. You know, so a lot of assumptions, you know, and we need to ask people what they want, and one of the ways that we can do that is by doing an employee attitude survey, or even just a quick, you know, survey around the office. So we need to stress the importance of involving staff in decision-making process. We need to initiate team bonding about your colleagues. I think that's a bandwagon thing, and I think that it's just a nonsensical thing to say, because I will tell you, I was in Finland recently. I called my colleague from 2010 or 2011, UA, and she's also a consultant, said, oh, this company, a big manufacturing company, they want to recruit. Even this Gazmadu Studios, it was my colleague from Unilever that went and your name. So you better bond with your colleagues. 5 years down the line, your colleague might be the one recommending so many times. So you can do weekly office games, of course, but I think beyond all these office games, we support one another, and we should hire kind people, because one of the things that I said to the MD of the airline company, who is my cousin, was that when you are recruiting, look for people who are, those are people that will go over and beyond to help their colleagues. Those people, they don't gossip about colleagues. Those people, they don't bully other colleagues at work. In relationships still. Next slide, please. I've talked about providing reward and recognition system, but you can make it monthly. And like I said, it doesn't have to be monetized. It can even just be open acknowledgement, you know. Organize volunteer activities for your people to participate in. They're already telling me that my time is up, so I'm trying to manage my time. Support outside educational opportunities. I've already talked about that. Sponsor your people to conferences, organize webinars, trainings, have facilitators to come in or send them to training centers to train. I've talked about licensing, continuing education, and finally, provide well-being support. This is 4-pronged. Okay, we didn't start on time, so you can't worry me. Questions. We'll take questions. Hiking for price that happened recently was for, oh, okay, let's increase salary. That is good because people always want more money. But in a lot of times, that's not always the reaction to a situation like that. So one of the things that employers, you get a financial expert to come and give talks to your people on, you know, managing their salaries well, managing their finances well, what sort of investments can they do with their money, you know, to yield more for them, how can they save, you know. It's one of the things that I do. So, I mean, if you want me to train your people on, you know, managing their salary well, that it will carry them to the end of the month or even beyond, you know, you can get experts to talk to them. Another form of well-being is mental well-being or psychological well-being. And I'll tell you again, even that doesn't need to cost you money. There was an advertising agency that called me to come and do cultural re-engineering for their business because there was high attrition, people were leaving, there was bullying, harassment going on. And so I interviewed 85 employees over a course of 2 weeks. And in one of the conversations, one young lady just started crying. And that was the aim of doing that anyway, because I wanted to know beyond even the scope of work that I was commissioned to do, what were some other issues that people were having. And this lady just started crying that, I think I have mental problems, and I've gone to HR, I've told this that you are providing. These are the names of credible therapists in Lagos, getting more money, and then you are helping your people to get reduced rates. So, just some things like that. For new mothers, you can look for what's it called? Part of it. I know that money is always an issue for, I'm a business owner myself, so I know these things little, but it will go a long way. When I worked in KPN, for example, we had a crash on site. That was even as far back as 2008, like first-time mothers. It was hard for them to reintegrate. So, we brought that on board. We had a nurse there, but they still needed to bring their own. Could take a moment, to go and check on the baby while I work. So sometimes those things go a long to look like. If you do all these things, and I'm sorry that we do not have enough in having improved student outcomes, because you see, if your skills, and so you have improved student outcomes, you have higher morale, you have lower staff turnover, because people have brand affinity for your business. Thank you very much.
Take down a piece of paper.
Please take it easy.
Write the questions down, please. Write the questions down. If you have your questions, please just raise them up so I can take them and then hand them over to us.
Another question. Even a small litmus test is, have you not seen some candidates that would come to the dentist recently, and the nurse, the junior doctor that was meant to do the extraction for me, the nurse was just nasty to this. The senior doctor is the owner of the practice. I'm like, this person doesn't know. But there are just some little things like that, so you can catch that. Sometimes it's also even in the way they carry on themselves. Maybe they're arrogant, bonded. Hope they will not. Was how do you manage gossip at work? How will you manage a place where there is gossip? How will you manage it? You cannot control people's relationship. You do ours. So you can imagine that when we were working together, really is on leadership. What are your HR people practicing? Say, how do you respond to it? If you don't kill it right on the spot, it will fester. John, so if you are the one that she did get her promotion and all of that, but they lost people because people will leave you and so I don't think you should, values, things like you support, you promote trust, you promote commitment, you yourself, you are a fair. Okay, on persistent latecomers, if you have given credit, how do you handle lateness without salary deduction, even when there are policies that back them up? Okay, to be honest, the schools or in the employment that people come late to work. When I worked in KPN, that's when they were doing the bridge, the Third Mainland Bridge. Get a warning. You are going out. That sort of thing. So in our car, right? We paired up. So we leave Yaba and knew what the next step was if you kept coming late. They were not going to tolerate it more times. Even if you make somebody a scapegoat, like can I might come late. I can choose to come late 3 times or 4 times in a month because all you are going to do is deduct as a staff. If your employer deducts your salary. You can ask your it's just that we're not a litigious country. These are things that people would easily take their employers to, because I know that people also do arbitrary removal. See, let me tell you how stringent that law is. And every officer mistakenly overpaid me. They had to come and beg me to structure a repayment that they are sorry. We need to get it back. Please forgive us for making that mistake. No more questions. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So say